Bismillah. Every parent asks, how do I raise a child who is confident, yet humble, strong, yet soft-hearted, successful, yet close to Allah? Today, let's talk about the kind of parenting that doesn't just build a child, it builds a believer, a child whose heart knows Allah, whose character reflects the Qur'an, and whose confidence comes from knowing who created them. If you want children who walk through this world with dignity, faith, and purpose, then stay with me. This message is for every mother, every father, every guardian seeking Allah's pleasure through their parenting. My dear brothers and sisters, raising a child is not merely a responsibility. It is an amanah, a sacred trust from Allah. Every heartbeat of that little one, every word they absorb, every step they take becomes part of our account on the Day of Judgment. Parenting is not about perfection. It is about sincerity, effort, and returning to Allah again and again as we guide the souls He placed in our care. Let me begin with a truth that many forget. A child's confidence begins long before they speak. It begins in their heart. And a heart that knows its Creator is never fragile. When a child grows up hearing about Allah's mercy, Allah's power, Allah's love for those who turn to Him, something inside them becomes steady. They no longer seek approval in the wrong places. They no longer depend on people to validate them. Their confidence is rooted in the One who never changes. Now ask yourself, what does my child hear most in my home? Complaints, anxiety, fear of people, or trust in Allah? Because children don't just listen, they absorb. And whatever fills your heart will eventually fill theirs. Pause for a moment. Think of a child who knows that Allah sees them, protects them, honors them. That child walks into school, into friendships, into this world with dignity. Not arrogance, not insecurity, but dignity. Confidence that comes from faith, not ego. Now let's move to the second principle. Righteousness grows in the home where parents live what they teach. You can tell a child to pray 1,000 times, but the day they see you fall in sujood with tears, their heart will awaken. You can tell them to speak kindly, but the day they see you restrain your anger for Allah's sake, they will learn mercy. You can tell them to love the Qur'an, but the day they see you open it, not out of obligation, but longing, they will understand what love means. Children read hearts, not lectures. They imitate actions more than instructions. The home is the first school, and parents are the first teachers, whether they intend to be or not. If you want a righteous child, begin by purifying your own heart. Ask Allah to make you sincere, to make your tongue truthful, to make your salah alive, to make your home a place where angels feel welcomed. Because children raised in an environment where Allah is remembered will naturally incline toward righteousness. And now, the third principle, and perhaps the most important in our age, a confident, righteous child is nurtured with mercy, dua, and patience, not pressure. Today, many children are drowning in expectations, grades, achievements, perfection. The world pushes them, society pushes them, and sometimes we push them. But Allah tells us something else. It is by the mercy of Allah that you were gentle with them. Gentleness raises believers. Harshness breaks them. Let your child feel safe with you. Safe to admit mistakes, safe to ask questions, safe to return when they fall. Confidence is born in a home where a child knows they are valued not for their report cards, not for their achievements, but because Allah honored them as human beings. And remember, your greatest tool as a parent is dua. The prophets made dua for their children long before they were born, long after they grew, long after they left home. Raise your hands in the last third of the night and ask Allah, Ya Allah, make my children among the righteous. Protect their hearts, guide their steps, fill them with confidence rooted in faith. For every struggle you face as a parent, Allah sees. For every tear, every fear, every exhausted night, Allah is near. And He is the one who guides hearts, shapes minds, and protects souls. My dear brothers and sisters, raising a confident and righteous child begins with raising yourself toward Allah. It begins with being a source of mercy, not fear, a source of stability, not chaos, a source of faith, not contradiction. May Allah make our children the coolness of our eyes. May He make them leaders of righteousness. May He give them confidence built on tawakkul and hearts anchored in His remembrance. And may every home listening to this message become a home of Qur'an, mercy, and light. Ameen. A child's confidence begins in the heart, and the heart begins with knowing Allah. Confidence is not something you hand to a child like a gift wrapped in a box. It's not built through praise alone, achievements, or telling them to believe in themselves. No, true confidence, the kind that lasts through storms, begins deep inside the heart. And the heart begins with knowing Allah. A child who grows up understanding who their Creator is will walk through life with a strength that no one can take away. Because when a child knows Allah, they learn that their worth is not based on how people see them, but how Allah sees them. They learn that failure is not the end, that mistakes are not final, that challenges are not punishments. They are part of the journey Allah wisely writes for every one of His servants. Think about it. If a child believes that the one who created the heavens and the earth is watching over them, guiding them, protecting them, how can they feel small? How can they feel weak? How can they live in fear of people when they know the one who owns all hearts? But how does a child reach this understanding? It starts with what they see and hear every single day. When a child hears their parents say, Allah is with us, Allah will take care of us, Allah is the most merciful, Allah is the most generous, something inside them begins to settle. A calm confidence grows. They begin to see Allah not as an abstract idea, but as a living presence in their life. A child who hears, let's ask Allah to help us, learns that strength comes from turning to the Creator. A child who sees you express gratitude for small blessings learns that everything comes from Allah. A child who sees you handle difficulty with patience learns that Allah never abandons those who rely on Him. This is spiritual grounding. This is inner strength. This is confidence. But the opposite is also true. When a child grows up in fear of people's opinions, fear of failure, fear of disappointing others, they develop a fragile identity. Everything becomes about pleasing others. Everything becomes about avoiding judgment. Their confidence becomes conditional, shaky, easily shattered by rejection or criticism. Confidence built on the creation will always crumble. Confidence built on the Creator will always rise again. So ask yourself, what do my children hear more, fear or faith, complaints or gratitude, panic or trust? Children are mirrors. They reflect the emotional and spiritual patterns they witness. If a parent lives with constant anxiety, fear about the future, fear about money, fear about success, without ever showing reliance on Allah, the child internalizes that the world is unsafe, that they are alone, that everything depends on human effort. But if a parent faces the same challenges while repeating, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil, Allah will not leave us, Allah knows what is best, the child learns something else entirely. The world is in Allah's hands. And if Allah is taking care of them, they can walk through life with assurance, dignity, and calm strength. Let me share something profound. A child becomes confident when they know they are never alone. Child who knows Allah walks into a classroom believing Allah can help them learn, taps into new experiences, knowing Allah will guide them, aces peer pressure, knowing Allah sees their sincerity, endures mistakes, knowing Allah forgives and gives second chances. His child isn't arrogant, they are anchored. They aren't loud, they are steady. They aren't dependent on others, they are connected to Allah. His is the kind of confidence that produces future leaders, leaders of faith, character, and clarity. Otita's kind of connection starts early, and it starts simple. In teaching them Bismillah before they eat teaching them Alhamdulillah when they receive something, teaching them Astaghfirullah when they slip, teaching them Inshallah when they plan, etting them see you make dua, etting them hear you read Qur'an, teaching them witness your trust in Allah. These small seeds plant a massive tree inside the heart, and from that tree grows confidence that cannot be shaken by criticism, failure, or worldly pressure. A child who knows Allah does not compare themselves to others. They understand that Allah created them intentionally, uniquely, beautifully. They know their strengths are gifts and their weaknesses are pathways to Him. They know they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be sincere. My dear brothers and sisters, if we want confident children, we must first give them spiritual direction, not through force or fear, but through love, presence, and gentle reminders of Allah's mercy. Confidence begins in the heart, and the heart begins with knowing Allah. May Allah fill the hearts of our children with His light, His love, and unshakable trust in Him. Righteousness is not taught by instruction alone. It is taught by atmosphere, by presence, by the silent language of actions, long before the spoken language of words. A child becomes righteous not simply because they are told what is right, but because they witness righteousness lived consistently in the home. A child learns sincerity by seeing sincerity. They learn patience by watching patience. They learn humility, generosity, forgiveness, kindness, not because they read it in a book, but because they see it practiced every single day by the people they trust the most. This is why the home is the most powerful classroom of a child's life, and parents are the first and most influential teachers, whether they intend to be or not. Think about this. A child will forget your lectures, but they will never forget your tone. They will forget your rules, but they will never forget how you reacted when you were upset or overwhelmed or disappointed. They will forget what you said about the Qur'an, but they will remember wet. Ere they ever saw you open it. They will forget what you told them about prayer, but they will never forget whether prayer actually mattered to you. When parents live the values they want their children to embody, something beautiful happens. The home becomes a place where righteousness feels natural rather than forced. Let's reflect deeper. A parent who wants their child to pray must first show the beauty of prayer. A child who sees a parent pause their day, roll out a prayer mat, and stand humbly before Allah day after day, learns that Salah is not a burden. It is a refuge. It is peace. It is a moment where hearts settle. When they see you praying with calmness, not rushing, not irritated, they will associate Salah with serenity, not stress. Similarly, a parent who wants their child to speak kindly must first guard their own tongue. Children listen to everything, even the things we say under our breath. If they hear harshness, backbiting, sarcasm, disrespect, that is what they will normalize. But if they hear gentleness, gratitude, positive words, dua, then mercy becomes their default language. A parent who wants their child to have good character must live with integrity. If a child sees inconsistency, anger one moment, sweetness the next, kindness in public, cruelty at home, religious advice given to others but not practiced personally, they grow confused. They learn to separate faith from life. They learn to act, not to be. They learn hypocrisy without anyone ever teaching it. But when a child sees consistency, consistent humility, consistent honesty, consistent effort, they learn that righteousness is not about being perfect. It is about showing up for Allah again and again with sincerity and effort. Let us not underestimate the quiet moments. A child watching you give away food to someone in need. A child seeing you lower your voice when upset. A child hearing you apologize when you are wrong. A child hearing you say, Alhamdulillah, even when things don't go your way. These moments shape their hearts more than any lecture ever will. And parents must also remember, righteousness is not built by fear, nor by force, nor by pressure. It grows through love, connection, and example. A home filled with warmth, Qur'an, dua, patience, and emotional safety becomes fertile ground for righteousness. A home filled with yelling, criticism, contradiction, and hypocrisy suffocates the spiritual growth of a child. Ask yourself, what atmosphere does my home carry? Do my children see me turning to Allah during difficulty? Do they hear me say astaghfirullah when I slip? Do they see me reflect when I hurt someone? Do they see kindness in my actions, not just my instructions? Parents are not meant to be perfect. Perfection is not what raises righteous children. What raises righteous children is authenticity. Parents who are striving toward Allah openly and humbly. Parents who admit mistakes. Parents who grow spiritually in front of their children. Parents who show emotional intelligence, self-control, and reliance on Allah, even when they fall short. When a child sees their parents seeking forgiveness, they learn that mistakes are not shameful. They are opportunities to return to Allah. When they see their parent giving charity quietly, they learn humility. When they see their parent respecting elders, helping neighbors, protecting their tongue, they learn the true meaning of character. Righteousness becomes something they aspire to, not because they are forced, but because it feels familiar. It feels beautiful. It feels like home. Let parents reflect with sincerity. If I want my child to pray, do I pray? If I want my child to recite Qur'an, do they see me recite? If I want my child to be gentle, am I gentle with them? If I want my deed to fear Allah, do I show that fear through obedience, not harshness? A child who grows up witnessing righteousness, live consistently, lovingly, and sincerely will carry that righteousness into adulthood. They may leave the home, but the values stay with them. The memory of your sujood may guide them when you are no longer there to remind them. The echo of your words, your patience, your tears, your dua, these things become their inner compass. Righteousness begins in the home. It grows where the parents embody what they want their children to become. It thrives where faith is lived, not preached. And it blossoms when children see faith not only on the tongue, but in the heart, in the hands, and in the daily actions of the ones raising them. May Allah make our homes gardens of righteousness, and our actions mirrors of the values we want our children to love. One of the greatest misunderstandings in parenting is the belief that pressure creates strength, that pushing harder creates success, that demanding perfection creates excellence. But the reality is this: pressure may create performance, but it does not create righteousness. It may create obedience, but it does not create love of Allah. It may create results, but it does not create inner confidence. A confident, righteous child is not formed through fear, harshness, or unrealistic expectations. They are nurtured with mercy, raised through dua, and shaped with patience. Mercy is the language of the Qur'an. Mercy is the character of the Prophet. Mercy is the foundation of a safe home. When a child feels mercy from their parents, they learn to trust, they learn to speak, they learn to return after they fall. They learn that home is not a battlefield, but a sanctuary. Mercy does not mean permissiveness. Mercy does not mean lack of discipline. Mercy means that correction is given with love, not humiliation. Mercy means boundaries exist, but they are delivered with compassion, not anger. Mercy means a parent sees the child's struggle before judging the child's behavior. Too often children are asked to behave calmly while they are spoken to harshly, asked to be patient while they are handled impatiently, asked to speak gently while they are addressed with irritation. This creates fear, not righteousness. It creates resentment, not confidence. A child raised with mercy learns to listen because their heart is open, not because their spirit is crushed. Then comes dua. Parenting without dua is like trying to grow a garden without water. You can plant the seeds, arrange the soil, place the sunlight, but without water, nothing will bloom. You can teach a child everything, but you cannot guide their heart without Allah. You can give advice, rules, reminders, but you cannot preserve their soul without Allah. You can protect them physically, but you cannot protect them spiritually without Allah. This is why the prophets made dua for their children, not once, but continuously. Dua before they were born, dua when they were young, dua when they were grown, dua when they faced trials. This is because the heart of a child is in Allah's hands, not the parents. A child raised with dua carries the barakah of being surrounded by their parents' prayers. Even when they slip, something inside them pulls them back. Even when they drift, a subtle tug brings them home. Even when they wander, Allah protects their path because someone was asking Him every night. Make dua for your child's iman, their character, their future, their heart, their friends, their spouse, their akhirah. Dua is not the last resort. It is the first foundation of righteous parenting. And then patience, a virtue required not once, but every single day. Raising a child requires patience with their mistakes, their slowness, their emotions, their growth. Children are not meant to be perfect. They are learning life for the first time. They do not know how to regulate their emotions. They do not understand consequences fully. They are still forming their identity. When parents expect adult behavior from a child, it creates frustration for both. Parenting requires slowing down, lowering your voice when your heart wants to raise it, taking a breath when your patience is tested, and remembering that Allah praises those who are patient, not those who are perfect. A righteous child grows when they feel safe to try again. A confident child grows when they know they won't be crushed for falling. Patience gives them space to learn, to grow, and to return to Allah willingly, not out of fear, but out of love. Pressure, on the other hand, suffocates. Pressure teaches children that love is conditional, that their worth depends on performance, that mistakes make them unworthy, that they must earn affection. This damages the soul. But a child who grows under mercy, dua, and patient guidance develops real confidence. Confidence that is internal, not external, stable, not fragile, connected to Allah, not tied to people. Such a child learns that mistakes are not the end, they are lessons. Struggle is not failure, it is growth. Effort is more important than perfection. Returning to Allah is always possible. Their value is inherent, not dependent. This kind of nurturing builds a child who is both emotionally grounded and spiritually connected. Such a child is not afraid to try because they know they are supported. They are not afraid to fail because they know they can rise again. They are not afraid to be righteous, even if others mock them, because their strength comes from Allah, not from validation. My dear brothers and sisters, pressure produces outward compliance, but mercy, dua, and patience produce inward righteousness. Pressure may force behavior for a moment, but love nurtures faith for a lifetime. May Allah make our homes filled with mercy, our tongues busy with dua, our hearts overflowing with patience, and may He raise our children as confident, righteous servants of Him.